Hello guys, what's going on? It's IcyZinHD and welcome back to the channel and another Star Citizen video. This is episode 2 of my series in which I'm trying to find my next favorite ship, my next daily driver, and I'm also hoping that I'm gonna help you decide on yours. Episode 1 was recorded a couple of days ago and uploaded, and then the next morning we had 4.1 released, so I can finally check out the Corsair once again. Now the Drake Corsair used to be my favorite ship ever since it released, even with all the bugs and issues it had in the beginning. I pre-ordered it the second it launched on the shop. I just loved how it looked, I loved everything about it. And then about half a year ago, I believe it was, that they nerfed it. They removed some weapons from the pilot, they gave them to the co-pilot, weakened the ship. It was not really fun to fly. Now, I don't have the black and red skin on it. It looks weird without it to me, because I always had it on it. For some reason Area 18 is dropping my frames like crazy, but we'll make do. So this is the outside of the Corsair. I love the looks, it looks like a flying fucking brick. I love how fat it is. It feels like a proper, I don't know, mercenary spaceship, or whatever you wanna call it. And with a quick look of the surroundings, let's start looking at the inside. We are gonna enter through the back, so we can take a look at the back of the ship first, make our way to the front, and continue from there. So, you have buttons for the ramp on both sides, this and the other. You also saw the button there for the elevator, we're gonna check that later. I do have an older video on my channel showcasing the Corsair again, a few years ago when it used to be the best ship in my opinion, but it's been nerfed since then. Also, what do we have here? The ramp is not touching the ground. Don't know if that's intentional or a new bug in 4.1. So we're in the back of the ship. I'm gonna hope I can get some frames and turn the lights on. The lighting is not the best inside, but as you can see here we have the floodlights, which when we turned on it's not gonna be much visible in the hangar because we have lights, but it turns on lights in the back and you can actually see fairly well on the back of the ship when you're in, you know, a dark location. So moving in the ship, let me close the door and look at this. When the animations work, they look cool as hell in my opinion. Officially it can hold 72, I believe it is, SEU of cargo. The grid stops somewhere around here-ish. I believe we're gonna see it later, hopefully we're gonna get some packs. And here-ish. But you can stuff a few packs further up, plus you can get them like on the ramp and just pray they don't bounce off your ship. You can fit inertia, you can fit cyclones, rocks. You can even fit small ships in this if you know, fly them very carefully. And while you can't really fill up the full SEU of it and have an extra vehicle, if you have your vehicle parked with her wheels on the ramp, it actually stays there, like it doesn't really bounce much. With that said, I love how it looks, I love the visuals, love how rough it looks. It has that proper Drake feeling. We can see all the components, shield generators. Can I actually yoink it, or do I have to do the... Also, well, okay, I think I need to open the ports for it, but you can actually access them, you can pull them out, change them on the fly, all that good stuff. Don't know, very interesting for me. I have a fuse here on the back. We finally have the fire extinguisher here. This used to be empty, so I used to leave cups here. This was a glorified cup holder to me. This panel's kind of useless. Maybe it becomes useful for engineering later, maybe not, because moving on, we have the actual engineering station in this room. This room I kind of hate. This door is too thin to move any packs in, and this thing right in the middle, it looks cool. You have more components, you saw life support at the front and a fuse. You have more like cooling stuff, I guess. I love how it looks, but kind of also takes up space. Also, I don't know what that is that says locked. Maybe this is the quantum drive and I need to unlock the ports to access it. Oh well, so this is the battery apparently. Yes. More ship components. More ship components. The fuel tanks here, and then this is the front of the ship, this is the side. This is one of my favorite rooms, because whenever I actually press the right button, it opens to the armory. Now, the armory has 6 slots for primary weapons, same amount for pistols or multi-tools, and then here on the back you have 2 slots for 2 big weapons like grenade launcher or the railgun, whatever it's called. Here we have the 2 suit lockers. They're useless at the moment, but I'm assuming you'll be able to hang your suits here at some point. And another 2 here, because this is supposed to be a 4-man ship. We're gonna see more of that later. On the side we have one of my favorite things. We have an airlock with a double door, so you can open the inside and then open the outside. You can use it as an exit, you can use it as an entry point if you're in space, and I'm assuming later on you can actually use it to dock for stuff. Now, do be very, very aware. Let me see if I can showcase it now. Yes, I can. Okay, exactly this. A human person fits here. It gets a bit buggy. Sometimes you might fly through one of the doors, sometimes you might glitch through the ship, but people do fit here, so be aware somebody might come here to steal your ship or whatever if you leave it open. Or you can use it to hide in other people's ships. Just don't forget to close the door. And I keep turning the lights on and off, that annoys the fuck out of me. Apologies for the weird cut, but I had to take a very small break, and also I disabled my filters, otherwise I'm looking at the recording and it gets a bit too dark. Moving further up into the ship, we got the cafeteria slash crew quarters, I guess, because here on the left we have 3 identical bedrooms. Let me open all 3 doors just to show that. All 3 are, I mean, they're mirrored, but, you know, they're exactly the same thing. A bed, local inventory under the bed, like you can log out in it, you can sleep, you have an extra suit locker here. They're the same thing, that's where your crew lives, and then that's where your crew eats, I guess. You have your little picnic table here, whatever you wanna call it, you can sit on it and eat. You have a little kitchenette here, I guess, with some fridges, probably some ovens, some trays. I'm assuming that's where you can store your foods and eat when, if, even cooking and shit becomes a thing later on. Yeah, pretty cool. And then moving up here, we have one of my favorite shitters in the game, because if this works, there it is, you can shit while watching TV. Not really TV, but you know what I mean. And obviously, you can put the shit back up, and of course, it becomes a shower again, which apparently is dripping. Okay. I've never noticed that. I'm assuming that's a new thing. Other than that, you have a little like emergency cabinet, you have, you know, a little sink, all the random stuff, and that's about it. Moving further up, we have the elevator. Now this is another entry slash exit from the ship, the one I didn't showcase earlier. If you guys seen anything about the Corsair, you've seen this. You've seen the roof access. We're gonna go down as well, but this is my favorite bit of the Corsair. The elevator that gives you access to the roof. You're gonna walk over the ship. Be aware, unless it changes it in these spots, we're gonna have to figure it out ourselves. Once you leave the elevator like panel, the ship's gravity does not affect you. So if you're upside down on a planet with gravity, as long as you're standing on this, you're fine. As long as you take a step, you're falling off. Other than that, the roof is my personal favorite exit from this ship, at least on planetary exits. When I land and I have to go for a bunker and stuff, I always exit to the roof. It doesn't really give anyone, you know, the ability to shoot me and get in my ship. Granted, they can still kill me and shoot the doors open, but, you know, minimizes the risk. Plus, you could also get on the roof and then use the wings and, you know, other bits of the ship for cover. I've done it on a few missions. It's pretty fun, pretty entertaining. This is one of our turrets. We're gonna take a look at them pretty shortly. You can see the weapons on the wing there. You can see the other wing. The missiles are on the other side. Sadly, you cannot see them from here, but it looks pretty fucking cool. Other than that, again, my favorite part about the ship, makes it feel very unique in my opinion, but at the same time, I wish more ships kind of got that treatment. Maybe not necessarily the roof access, but, you know, bits that make them unique. Like the Mercury Startrunner has the weird vent system going through it. Now, I took the elevator all the way to the ground floor because I just want to show you the animation. It looks pretty fucking cool. Let me return it quickly. If it doesn't bug out, you're gonna see what I mean. It actually worked. Okay, nice. It does look pretty cool as fuck in my opinion, but at least so far it was very prone to bugging, and this panel would either never open, so you would phase through it, or it would always look open, but it wouldn't be. With that said, let's go back to the mess hall, finish up the tour of the ship. We have 2 more rooms to check, and then we're gonna try it out in combat. Moving up from what the game is calling a mess hall, I call it a common area, whatever you wanna call it. We have the 2 side turrets, left and right. Nothing special. Again, this series is focusing on solo gameplay, so usually you would wanna remove the weapons from your turrets so you don't take, you don't waste power from your ship. And the turret on top is actually more than enough in my opinion, but if you do have 2 mates to man both turrets, this ship becomes even stronger than what it normally is. Moving further up, we have the cockpit, the bridge, whatever you want to call it. On the right we have another fuse, on the left we have what I assume is supposed to be the captain's quarters. It's just another bedroom, looks like the rest of them, suit locker, bed, inventory at the bottom. Nothing really special. Lastly, we got some ship components that you can't really access. Don't know if they're there just for looks or later on they're gonna have some usage. Then you have the co-pilot seat, as you can see, and the pilot seat. The pilot seat just chills here, while the co-pilot seat, let me just showcase you the cool animation if you haven't seen it, puts you directly under the pilot. So I had to turn the power off and on again to showcase what the co-pilot can do. You get access to almost everything. As you can see, you have a few MFDs you can mess with. You can mess with the shields, you can mess with the power management of the ship if needed, so your pilot can give you the calls, tell you what he needs, tell you, if he's in the middle of a fight. You can assign groups, you can do almost everything, and lastly, you can go on the top turret. Now, the top turret visibility is 360, but the problem is you cannot see under the ship and you cannot see directly behind if somebody's flying up close on your ass. Overall, Corsair doesn't really have great visibility at the bottom, and it's also a ship that's pretty hard to handle. It handles pretty slowly, it flies pretty slowly, handles pretty heavily, so it's not really, the most agile ship. If somebody gets on your blind spot, you're most likely fucked, sadly. But until somebody gets on your blind spot, you have a turret on the top, 2 turrets on the side, and then 4 weapons at the front for the pilot, plus the 2 on the wings. So if you do full man this, you have a shit ton of firepower. So another thing, if you're not in the remote turret, as you can see, the pilot gets access to the 2 bottom guns of the ship. I don't really see a situation that's gonna help, considering the pilot can control all 4 at the front, and I believe that the pilot having all 4 and the co-pilot having the turret on top is gonna be more firepower. But it is a pretty cool feature. And finishing off all the seats and stuff, we have the pilot seat, last bit of the ship. I did turn the engines off, so I need to turn them back on again. I don't even know what's happening. There we go. Okay, something was very bugged. So, as the pilot, you get access to all 4 weapons at the front, and to get access to the 2 weapons on the wing, you can see them there, you need to actually extend your wings, which you don't really want to do when you're landed, because your ship is gonna get all wonky. So, with that said, let's take a quick look at our components, take a quick look at our management of our powers and stuff, and we're ready to go do that bounty that I have accepted on the top right. So, the Corsair used to have 4 pilot-controlled weapons, 4 size 5 weapons at the front at the nose, and 2 size 4 weapons on the wing on the left-hand side. You cannot see them all on your screens right now. A few months ago, they decided that they're gonna remove the 2 size 5s from the front. They're gonna remove control from the pilot and give it to the co-pilot, which left the ship only with 2 size 5s and 2 size 4 for the pilot. So if you were playing solo, you only had 4 weapons, 2 size 5s, 2 size 4s. Not horrible firepower, but it doesn't really make up for how slow this ship is. You cannot really outfly your opponents. Plus, it just made it weaker than the daddy of them all, the Constellation series, that still has 4 size 5s for the pilot. With that said, with this patch 4.1, the pilot got all 4 of his weapons on the front again, with a catch. The front 4 weapons have been switched to size 4s, and the wing has been switched to size 5s. So while you still have control of 6 weapons, it's 2 size 5 and 4 size 4s. It is still a lot of firepower, but not as fun as it used to be. For the purpose of this series, I'm gonna be going through the stock components of the ship when the Corsair had all 6 weapons for the pilot with the 4 size 5s and the 2 size 4s. The way I used to run it is 2 laser repeater on the wing, the size 4s, and then 4 size 5 AD5Bs, I believe it was, the ballistic repeaters that you can put on your ship. Didn't make much difference, you can go with just laser repeaters anyways, but it did feel very fun just bursting and burning through everybody's shields. With that said, we can see our MFDs. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we used to have a 5th on the ground, but now it's a bit weird. I don't think it's working anymore. I was gonna say sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but for me it's been it doesn't at this point. But I do like that with your default vision, granted I have increased my FOV a tiny bit, but you can still get access to all 4 of your main MFDs, plus the radar in the middle anyways. Okay, so as you can see we have the 4 M6As at the front and 2 Badgers. The Badgers are the ones on the wing, so I'm gonna leave them on Group 2 and Group 3. Group 3 is just the one I add everything to see the ammo, but Group 1 is my main fire button, Group 2 is my secondary fire button, so you can fire them separately. So we have 4 cannons at the front, 2 repeaters on the wing. So if I scroll down to all 3, yeah, you can see all 3. So I'm pressing the second button. Nothing happens, of course, because the wing is not deployed, so the weapons are not actually accessible, but we can shoot the 4 cannons. That should hurt a fair bit. For power management, as a rule of thumb, especially if you're playing solo, you kind of want to remove the weapons from the side turrets and the top, so then you have 6 less weapons yoinking power from your main power generator. So instead of having to max it out, maybe you'll be using like a few less pips. But I'm not gonna remove it at the moment. As I said, I do wanna do it fairly stock, fairly default. You know, just like you would have it and you would see it. So I'm gonna put all power to weapons. I'm gonna max it out even if a lot of it is unnecessary. And then we're gonna move down. Our life support seems to be empty, but let's remove 1 peep from each cooler. Let me restart this because I think it's bugged. As you can see, power isn't really being applied, even if I should have extra power. Where does it all go? Or is the server just dying out? Yeah, this is supposed to have a peep in it. Like I put a peep in it, you saw it, but it's not really catching that. Well, let's remove some power from our engines and to give it in the weapon so we can have full weapons. So we can have 57 on the repeaters and 19 shots on the cannons. Maxed out shield, fairly slow afterburner regeneration, but oh well. I'm gonna keep the life support off. I have a helmet on. I know that as a rule of thumb you should keep it on. I even said it in the previous video, but it doesn't matter right now. So another thing I should mention about the Corsair, which is a thing I've mentioned about the Cutlass Black, is that if we look at the engines, by pressing K for VTOL, you can actually physically see the VTOL engines move around. I thoroughly enjoy that myself. Visibility on the Corsair is pretty amazing from the top. It's pretty average in my opinion to the front. You cannot really see lower. You kind of have, you know, to move your ship, and obviously you're absolutely blind at the bottom. Landing is kind of eyeballing it unless you go third person. With that said, let's wait for the hangar to open, take off, and go do our bounty, see how default Corsair fares with HRTs. One last thing before we move is if you're wondering how to deploy your wings, you need to press your left alt on your keyboard and K, the letter K, and this amazing fucking animation plays out. I love it. I don't know why, I don't know what it is about it, I fucking love it. And then take a look at the landing gear at the bottom. It just retracts straight up into the ship, nothing special, but I do like how short it is. I do like that this ship has very stubby legs, if you wish. Very stubby little feet. I don't know, something about it makes it feel right. So, while I'm preparing the jump to Walla, I should mention that the Corsair has a maximum of 116 hydrogen fuel, well, SEUs of hydrogen fuel, and 5.19 SEUs of quantum fuel. I do not know if that changed fuel consumption in dispatch, but I never used to run out of fuel, even if I forgot to top it off throughout the day. Okay, so we are approaching the target's last known location. It is over a cave, it is an HRT, so it might not go the greatest for me, but we're gonna attempt it. I'm gonna fly with nav mode a tiny bit more, because this is a very slow ship, so the faster we get close, the better it's gonna be. I'm gonna drop it once we get around 20 kilometers, sorry. Yep, there we go. We're getting close enough. Random is off. Oh shit. Well, I should have also mentioned that the ship comes with 8 arrestor missiles. But we should start a fight with. Our target is up there. What ship is that? That's a Catty, I believe. And then I don't know what that is really. Is that a Valkyrie or am I completely wrong? Well, we're gonna find out. Let's start a fight with missiles. There we go. And then start with our cannons. And our repeaters. Yeah, we landed some pretty good hits on him. I need to remember to keep an eye again on my shields. Oop. Are we gonna get missiles? Yes, we are. Am I overheating? What's up? Because my wing is not firing. Or is it just bugged out? My main weapon is, but my repeaters don't wanna fire, so I'm down to 4 weapons. Yeah, the Cutlass is taking some good hits. We are also taking hits, but we're doing pretty well, I think. You can see the shields holding up, and I'm playing with the default ones. But flying this is a pain in the ass. It does handle very bad, especially in atmosphere. It is a flying brick, but it does hit like a truck. Obviously, we lost the back shields, or we're about to. Obviously the default shields and weapons are not that good, but you can upgrade it to make it even stronger. We're getting some nice shots on this angle. Come on. Like this, in my opinion, is a step up from the Cutlass Black. There we go. She's also gone. Do we have anybody else? Yes, we do. Is that the Talon or the Shrike? Or am I completely wrong with the names? Also, the Corsair feels like it's flying smoother than what I remember it flying as. It still flies like heavy, absolutely, but I remember it feeling worse than that. Come on, give me straight shots. Please don't crash into me, but do give me straight shots. I mean, you would wanna switch to repeaters, I believe, just to melt them down faster, but even with the basic cannons, you can see if you land the shots, they're just done for. Now, my question is, why is my wing not shooting? Like, I'm pressing my second button, because that's my left click, and I'm pressing right click and it's not shooting. No? Yeah, it is shooting from the wing now. Wait, I'm confused. I'm so confused. It shows 4 weapons firing, but these 2 are not going down, but then we can see the wing firing. But the wing is not supposed to fire. What? It's supposed to be buzzers. Okay, I got a feeling something is bugged with the ship at the moment, because it shows that we're supposed to have 2 buzzers on the wing, but it kind of shows it as 2 extra cannons. And we can see 4 weapons on the top left shooting, like on the ammo countdown. But we can also see the wing firing, and it's also firing cannons instead of repeaters, so I got a feeling it's just bugged at the moment. Other than that, the ship is as strong as ever. I'm gonna actually main it a fair bit this patch again, see how that feels. But I do also wanna try out the Taurus, just for the purposes of this video, because I think it's fair for you guys. With that said, let me do some quick landing, putting the wings up. I'm gonna loot the distilled spirits out of the Cutlass, I believe it is. It's garbage gear, again, garbage money, like I'm not really gonna make any profit out of it or whatever, but I just wanna showcase to you guys like the cargo grid of the ship. We're gonna have to land down here somewhere, because the angle is a bit weird. Let me just drop it. I think we have rocks under us. I think we're fine. So, when you land like this in this ship, my personal rule, if you land like an idiot like I just did, is obviously exit to the roof, but if you're not sure if you can get back in your ship, always drop the elevator. If it looks high enough that you can make it with a jump, then you're sorted, because you know that you can just jump back in. Or jump back through. Okay, I don't know why I have my rifle out, I don't think anyone's gonna be here, but just have it. So let's open the hangar. Is it gonna open on the rock? No, perfect. I could have landed a bit closer, I think, now that I'm thinking about it, but too late now, we're already here. Let me just grab the pack, drop it in the ship, and show you the... What? I turned my back for 1 second. I don't even know what to say. I don't know if my ramp bumped something and that's what made it float, or what. Or if there's like a storm or some shit. Oof. And we made it back in. Hell fucking yeah. Okay. That was more eventful than I thought it would be. But with that said, we can at least take a look at the fucking cargo grid now, if this works. As you can see, as I said earlier, the furthest you can put it in is within the yellow lines you can see on the side. It doesn't snap here, doesn't snap all the way back. It doesn't... Excuse me? There we go. Doesn't snap all the way to the right, but it does snap anywhere else. You can fit a fair amount of packs in here, 72 SEU, but yeah. Let's never go back out again while we're sideways. Let's go back in the ship and take off and finish the video. Thank fuck for the multiple entries on this ship. If it wasn't for that, I would be stuck here. I would have to relog and then reclaim the Corsair all over again. So, let's finish the video with a quick review of the Corsair. In the previous video I didn't really do a numerical rating for the Cutlass Black. I would personally give it a 7 out of 10. It's up there, but not the best. But for the Corsair, I would give it a 10 out of 10 if you take into consideration its looks. If visuals don't really, matter to you, I would give it a solid 9. Lowest I would go is an 8.5. because we got the weapon size switched around these spots. Offensively, it's a fucking beast. As I said, 4 size 4s at the front, 2 size 5s on the side. You can demolish every small fighter on the first pass, through them. Problem is, if you fail that, you might be fucked because it handles like a brick. If they know how to play, they will outfly you, they will out-agility you. They're gonna stay in your blind spots, they're just gonna keep you, looping and flipping around, trying to get a shot on them while they're chunking your HP down. Which brings me to the next point, the HP, the shields, and the actual hull HP. The actual hull HP is not the greatest, it's less than a Constellation for some reason, even if this actually looks thicker, in my opinion, fatter, beefier, whatever you wanna call it. But with the shields kind of make up for it. Even the stock shield is not too bad, though I would upgrade to the highest shield or the stealthiest shield, depending on your playstyle, but it can take a punch. The one problem it has when it comes to defenses, I guess, is how fragile the wings and the engines are. If you lose the left wing, you lose the 2 weapons, so you're kind of, down to just 4 size 4s. And a lot of AI is just gonna randomly run through your wings and blow them up. But the main problem is when you lose the engines. If you lose one, the ship just flips and spins out of control like a fucking Beyblade. And it becomes a problem in atmosphere because then you're fucked. You're super slow to fly. You cannot, go in a straight line, so you cannot run out of atmo to quantum and stuff. When you're in space, it gets a bit easier. You can just kill your engine, or not your engine, sorry, kill your speed and just become a space turret, or you can drop out of coupled mode, go decoupled, throw yourself one direction, stop using your throttle, and then while your ship is moving, just turn it around and start shooting, or at least attempt to, before you go to repair. Other than that, it flies like a brick, but in my opinion, it flies exactly as it looks like it would, if that makes sense. It's not horrible, it's not the best, but it feels fair for its size and shape. Other than that, upgrade wise, I would encourage you to upgrade the shield initially. I would encourage you to upgrade the quantum drive just so you can fly around a bit faster, not necessary, but also upgrade your weapons. You don't have to go for higher damage if you don't want to, you can go cheap, but go for repeaters. That's my personal opinion. The cannons are fucking sweet for PvE, because the AI isn't really skilled, so you can just sit there and smash them, but players will be an issue because you are not agile again, so you cannot, do cool maneuvering while landing insanely hard-hitting shots. And I think this is it. I think that's all. I think it's time to finish the video. I do think I'm gonna give the Corsair way more flight time this patch. It might actually become my new daily driver. I love the ship, but I do have more to check out, at least for the series, but also, as I said, I might end up loving them more. Unless something changes, something happens, whatever. Next video on this series is going to be on the constellation Taurus. I believe the Taurus is the best constellation for what content I wanna do. I fucking love how swag the Phoenix looks, for example, in the inside, but kind of pointless. But yeah, next video is gonna be on the Taurus. The one after that might be on the Karak, might be on a Spirit or a Zeus. We'll see. Again, leave your suggestions down below if you have any better ideas, if you have any better suggestions, if you have any weird suggestions, and all that stuff. With all that said, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, would appreciate you hitting the like button down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.